Hello and welcome to the Philosopher's Angle, your daily French philosophical take on the news headlines. This is an AI-generated podcast based directly on the writings of the philosophers discussed, but like all AI, it can make mistakes. In the news today, October 12, 2024, UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer has emphasized the need for significant investment in public services such as housing, transportation, schools, and the National Health Service, NHS, to improve the lives of working people. In an interview with The Guardian, Starmer acknowledged that his government's first months in office have been challenging, with tough decisions on issues like winter fuel payments and internal power struggles. However, he expressed confidence that his government is on track to deliver positive change. Despite criticism from some Labour MPs who worry that long-term promises of investment may not resonate with voters facing immediate challenges. Starmer argued that investing in public services is essential for improving productivity, creating good jobs, and giving people hope for a better future. The Prime Minister also addressed the controversy surrounding his acceptance of gifts worth thousands of pounds, stating that while it was not pleasant to face criticism, he understood why the public and media were scrutinizing his actions. He rejected the notion that the row proved all politicians are the same, highlighting the differences between his government's transparency and accountability compared to the previous Conservative administration. Starmer acknowledged the tough decision to cut winter fuel duty for all but the poorest pensioners, which sparked public outcry. However, he defended the move as necessary to address a £22 billion black hole left by the Tories and argued that pensioners would ultimately benefit from the pension's triple lock. Despite facing record-low personal approval ratings in polls, Starmer remained committed to delivering change and restoring faith in politics. He emphasized his responsibility to improve people's lives through effective governance and looked forward to being judged on his government's delivery of positive outcomes. Commentary inspired by the writings of Pierre Bourdieu. The Calculus of Legitimacy, Unpacking Keir Starmer's Gambit on Public Services. As the United Kingdom navigates the complexities of post-Brexit politics, Prime Minister Keir Starmer has made a deliberate wager on investing in public services to revitalize the lives of working-class citizens. On its face, this move appears to be a pragmatic economic decision aimed at stimulating growth and creating jobs. However, as Pierre Bourdieu's seminal work reminds us, such investments are also deeply entwined with the symbolic struggle for legitimacy and power within the political field. In his treatise on the state nobility, elite schools in the field of power, Bourdieu offered a discerning observation that the state is not merely a reflection of dominant economic interests, but possesses its own distinct logic, autonomy, and contradictions. This insight offers a nuanced lens through which to examine Starmer's emphasis on public services. Rather than simply being an economic decision, this move can be seen as a strategic ploy to accumulate symbolic capital, that elusive yet potent form of power that legitimates leaders and institutions in the eyes of citizens. Bourdieu's concept of symbolic struggle is particularly relevant here, as it highlights the ongoing competition among actors within the political field for legitimacy, recognition, and influence. By investing in public services, Starmer is effectively attempting to rebrand his government as a champion of social welfare and economic revitalization. This move not only seeks to placate disaffected Labour MPs, but also aims to woo skeptical voters who have grown disillusioned with politics. However, the success of this gambit hinges on a complex interplay of factors, including the habitus of working-class individuals whose perceptions of public services are shaped by their social environment and experiences. As Bourdieu noted in Outline of a Theory of Practice, habitus is a system of dispositions that generates practices, perceptions, and attitudes adapted to the conditions in which they were acquired. This implies that Starmer's policies will be filtered through the lived experiences and cultural narratives of his target audience, influencing their support or skepticism towards his initiatives. Furthermore, Bourdieu's observations on the rules of art, genesis and structure of the literary field shed light on the multifaceted nature of power within the political field. The permanent struggle between different forms of capital, economic, cultural, social, and symbolic, underscores the need for leaders like Starmer to navigate a complex web of competing interests and values. In this context, Starmer's acceptance of gifts worth thousands of pounds can be seen as a misstep that has inadvertently underscored the opacity of power and privilege within the British elite. The controversy surrounding his actions has not only tarnished his personal image, but also threatened to undermine the legitimacy of his government, revealing itself as an indicator of a more profound crisis. Despite these challenges, Starmer remains committed to delivering change and restoring faith in politics. His emphasis on transparency and accountability offers a glimmer of hope that his administration will be willing to confront the entrenched interests and privileges that have long hindered genuine reform. Ultimately, the calculus of legitimacy that underlies Starmer's gamble on public services will be decided by the British people themselves, as they weigh the merits of his policies against their own experiences and aspirations. They will render a verdict on whether this government has truly earned its place in the symbolic struggle for power and influence. Thank you for listening to today's episode of The Philosopher's Angle. Be sure to come back tomorrow for another reflective take on the day's news.